I will be honoring the memory of someone that had a large impact in my childhood. If I were to recall the first event that ever occurred in my life, it would be dated back in 1998. For some of you who are unfamiliar with Indonesian history, 1998 is when the racial riot occurred in Jakarta. Crime rates were soaring high, businesses were burnt down. Basically, the situation in my hometown was in a complete mess. So my family and I were forced to move 1,000 kilometers away from home to Bengkayang, which is in West Kalimantan. And being the ignorant child that I am, and no matter how bad the situation was, I actually lived through it as a happy little boy. I wasn't aware that we had to move because of a life-threatening situation. I literally thought that I was on a vacation. The shack that I was forced to live in felt like a cottage to me, and the rickshaw trips that I had to take to school felt like carnival rides. I didn't know. And along my time in Kalimantan, and along all the people that I have interacted with, one man stood out. I don't remember what his name is, and I didn't even know what relation he has with my family. All I know is that he has connection with my parents, and that he's a neighbor. We all know in family movies whereby there'll be another male figure that will care for the child main actor, like Stoic in How to Train Your Dragon 2, or Hagrid in Harry Potter. That man was probably to me like how these figures are to those fictional children. But so whenever my parents bullied me in front of him, he would actually step in and defend me. Whenever I injured myself, he would actually patch me up. And the most memorable thing that he ever done for me is when I accidentally touched a motorcycle exhaust. My hand was burnt. I was in a complete pain. I was only 3 years old. I couldn't contain. I couldn't stop crying. Even my parents couldn't stop me from crying. But he took me into his house, whipped up a hot chocolate for me to drink, and eventually I stopped crying. That was the last thing that I remembered him doing for me. And months passed, and eventually the riot settled, and my family and I had to move back to Jakarta. And I never thought of him anymore until the day my father broke the news to me that that man had been unexpectedly stabbed to death by his neighbor. The world paused for me at that moment. I wasn't devastated. I wasn't feeling grief because he wasn't very close to me, but I felt like there's a hole in my life. Like I have lost someone who could have meant a lot to me, that had an impact in my childhood. And it really, really bothered me that despite the time that I failed to contact him. I blew it. I have lost my chance to make contact with someone that could have really meant a lot to me. This experience taught me a thing. It taught me to appreciate the time that I'm granted to spend with my loved ones. And because death is inevitable. No one can escape death. But above and beyond, it is unexpected. It can happen to anyone, at any time, and anywhere. So my message to y'all is to cherish every single moment that you have with your loved ones, because you'll never know if it is your last one. It will be the last. It will be your last.